Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Bobby Lashley retained, Bianca Belair won, and Bad Bunny might have just put on the best celebrity match at WrestleMania ever. And you all raised over £13,500 for the mental health charity Calm. Meaning I had to shave a line down the middle of my hair at the end of our live reactions. It's your kids, Marty. I'm Doc Davis. Please give us a subscribe, super kick that thumbs up button, and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news and review videos, like my review of WrestleMania 37 Night 1. In about 10 minutes. The main card opened with Vince McMahon on the main stage, flanked by all the WWE main roster to welcome fans back to live wrestling for the first time in over a year, with babyfaces and heels standing side by side. You're exposing the business, WWE. Because we got the real biggest return of wrestling in 2021. Green shirt guy out there in the front row, how does he still get the tickets? After using the exact same video intro package as last year, despite it focusing on Charlotte Flair, who's not even on the card, the Omni Flair. We got more shots of all the fans not really socially distancing or wearing their masks properly. But that doesn't matter because there's a new threat in the air, a literal thunderstorm. WWE spent all this time putting in safety protocols for coronavirus. They forgot about the old school problem of weather. Fans were ushered out of the arena and the commentators were moved from their desk due to concerns over being struck by lightning. Hey, I thought they moved out of the Thunderdome. At least the area isn't surrounded with loads of tall metallic structures, steel cages, and a giant pirate ship, I suppose, that could get hit by... That's exactly what's out there! WWE hastily cut to a load of impromptu backstage interviews, which were actually terrific, as we got to see pro wrestlers cut unscripted pro wrestling promos. Which, surprise surprise, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, The New Day, Drew McIntyre are very, very good at. It was like the biggest episode of Talking Smack ever, and is probably what actual pre-shows should be from now on, Pete Rosenberg. Even the backstage interviewers got the show personality amidst the chaos. Thankfully, the weather got slightly better, meaning the show could start again after a 35-minute delay. We've waited a whole year, what's another half hour? So WWE kicked off the first entrance in front of fans post-lockdown with Titus O'Neil. And he didn't even slip over when it was raining. Come on, man, that's your whole thing. He stood alongside Hulk Hogan to do their co-hosting duties because some of Hogan's best WrestleMania co-hosts are from Tampa to never be seen together again. Rather staggeringly, considering this was the first big wrestler name coming out in front of fans, the crowd booed Hogan. But then, after that storm-delayed wait, we got our first match, with a guy coming out holding a metal sword above his head, and another who's got lightning pyro for his entrance and claims to be the Almighty. You know what? Maybe WWE have been tempting fate a bit recently. Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley had a brilliant 20-minute opener, my actual favourite match of the night, which was the perfect antidote to a year of WWE with no crowds. This was more in the McIntyre mould of match structure rather than the Heyman big move, big move, big move pace that has dominated title matches over the last few years, and it worked perfectly at drawing you slowly into their physical struggle. Drew targeted the arms seemingly so he could break out of the Hurt Lock later on, but Bobby ended up being too strong. Despite some excellent back and forths, including a real, not pre-recorded, "This is awesome" chant. MVP distracted McIntyre before he attempted a Claymore, leading to Lashley getting the Hurt Lock cinched in and not letting go until Drew passed out. It's still incredibly frustrating that they broke up the Hurt business if the plan was to keep the belt on him all along, but this was an excellent match with enough left in the tank for a rematch as soon as possible. With MVP's interference, Drew passing out rather than tapping, and crucially, never hitting a Claymore. Done the 3 thing. Unfortunately, the women's gauntlet took the crowd right down after the opener's excitement, with Billie Kay comedy rolling up Naomi in the first encounter, because what's the point of having fans back in the arena if you can't beat people in their hometown? For Kay and Carmella to then be dispatched by the Riot Squad, who were coolly dressed as Harley Quinn and the Joker. And then came, surprisingly, the only slide of the evening considering the wet weather conditions, with Mandy Rose slipping on the entrance as she walked down. The action never really recovered, with a lot of in-ring awkwardness. The Riot Squad beat Mandy and Dana to lamely fall to Natalya and Tamina, setting up that Night 2 showdown that only WWE wants to see: Tamina versus Nia Jax. This wasn't just a bad follow-up to the opener because it was a bit naff. It was rubbish because there was no feud for this, no real story, and the crowd reacted accordingly, which is mostly disinterested. Thankfully, the incredible back and forth action of Cesaro versus Seth Rollins was more than enough to bring them back in, with Seth working over Cesaro's arm, meaning he couldn't hit his trademark uppercuts or swings with much force. The athleticism of transitions between moves here was insane, eventually ending with a stomp into an uppercut, then an airplane spin with no hands, mum, then 23 rotations on the swing and a neutralizer to win. Beat still, my late noughties ROH-loving heart. Cesaro beat Rollins at WrestleMania. Big E did the entrance for the New Day, while Amos came out wearing a sleeveless tight vest, the classic attire Vince McMahon gives someone when he doesn't like how their stomach looks. You can be the tallest, most jacked-arm guy in the world. If you haven't got abs, you're wearing a vest. But despite the attire misgivings, this match was entirely designed to get over Omos, to the rather psychologically backwards extent of having faces the New Day work over heel AJ to eventually get the hot tag to Monster Amos. Amos looked incredibly cool laying waste to the New Day, eventually pinning Kofi Kingston with 1 foot to become the new tag team champions, just 2 years after Kofi beat Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. There was a trailer for WWE 2K22 with the tagline, "It hits different." It looks exactly the same. Then we got my least anticipated match of the year: Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman. Braun's first mistake was not coming out on a giant choo-choo train. His second was having Elias and Jackson Riker jump him so Shane could get the heat. The usual shenanigans of people interfering in a match stipulation that should mean no one could interfere happened, and Shane seemingly had it won, climbing over the top and taking time to reach his hand through the mesh to wave goodbye. But Braun not only grabbed his arm, he yanked the cell mesh off the frame and pulled Shane back inside, which was an admittedly awesome spot. It went from inspired to crazy reckless next though, with Shane then taking a flatback flip bump off the top of the cage for Braun to win. But far more importantly, this was when Fakador successfully retained his championship against Randy Andy Datsun, setting up Fakador versus Adam Blampied for the belt on Night 2 tonight. Somehow, after a way too long 10 minutes of loads of people dressed in bunny costumes, Miz and Morrison songs, a never-ending video recap, and Bad Bunny surfing on a truck, I think I saw some Damian Priest in there, we might have got one of the best celebrity matches at WrestleMania ever. Bad Bunny, making his in-ring debut, boldly worked the majority of a 15-minute match as the babyface in peril, building to a Priest hot tag, the opposite of what you'd usually do for non-trained wrestler involvement. But to his enormous credit, Bunny was terrific, throwing himself around, credibly selling, and even hitting a Canadian destroyer on the outside on John Morrison, eventually getting the win with that most celebrity of moves, a top rope splash. This was one of the best celebrity matches in Mania history, but it did go long, and ultimately Damian Priest, the man we all hoped it would elevate, felt like an afterthought. Thankfully, WWE really did cement a new top star in the main event, as Bianca Belair literally whipped Sasha Banks to become the new SmackDown Women's Champion. The significance of the occasion wasn't lost on them, as the two emotionally smiled at each other before the bell, with Belair tearing up. While it was undeniably affecting, I would prefer that to be saved for after the match. Call me an old timer, but I do like to believe that wrestling is real while it's actually going on and that they actually want to fight each other. The match played to both their strengths, with Sasha able to wrestle as a smart boss heel, wrapping Bianca's ponytail round her arm for the bank statement, and to Belair's strength too, which is, well, strength. All the strength. She rolled through one of Sasha's insane dives outside and then press walked her up the steps back into the ring. But after a brutal hair whip that cut Sasha's side, Belair hit the KOD to win, to an amazing reaction with the crowd, and a beautiful moment to end night one after a year-long lockdown. And at that very same moment, we realised you had all broken the Just Giving page with your donations, and the total refreshed from £8,500 to over £13,000. And I had to do this. What did you think of WrestleMania 37 Night 1? Let me know in the comments down below, and vote in our poll on a poll match on the community tab, where 70% voted for that EST women's main event. This was a really fun, fan-pleasing show, with the main event, the opener, and Cesaro versus Rollins as standouts. We got a star-making turn for Amos and a surprisingly good celebrity match too. The only dud was the gauntlet match. WrestleMania 37 Night 1 is 4 out of 5. We'll be back on the WrestleTalk podcast channel today with mine and Luke's WrestleMania Night 1 review and our WrestleMania Night 2 live reactions, where the champion El Fagador will be defending against Adam Blompier. We'll have a championship scramble to crown the next #1 contender, and as you already smashed our £10,000 goal to shave a line down my head, it looks like we'll be having to put in a stretch goal. You can keep donating to Calm using the link in the video description below. Watch mine and Luke's WrestleMania Night 1 podcast review by clicking the video on the right on what were the 10 best WrestleMania main events of all time. Click the video below that for Adam Blompier's list. I've been Mr. Davis. Jam that jam.